welcome to another adventure in Guyanese literature. Now, did I say adventure? Yes, I did say adventure. And it is evident, it is evident from one of the one of the reviews that I did on that book and published in the Guyana Annual. I said that this book, Kiskadee Days Village People, was born of an adventurous spirit. And even the final words in this book bears evidence that this is an adventurous book. For the author is saying she took a risk in producing this book. We'll talk about the risk of publishing, the risk of marketing your book, the risk in getting your book published. But now let's go into the book, because the book is saying that Kiskadee Village is welcoming one and all. And I want to ask Gaitri, what's in Kiskadee Days Village People to welcome all and sundry? Tell us what's inside this village that is so welcoming. Gaitri?
Well, that's not really easy to answer. I think I would say it's Kiskadee Village is the village that's in the hearts of all Guyanese. And wherever you look in the village, you look at the women, you read the stories, you can identify with the adventures of the Moderation Little Boys, for example. It's Guyana. It's Guyana in my heart that I put out there for everybody else.
Yeah, right. They are solid characters, and we'll talk about these solid three-dimensional characters because you made these characters. You made them physically, and you also made them come alive in the book. All right. Let's locate Gaitri. Let's locate Gaitri. From the land of many waters to the land of tulips. Let's talk about beginnings. Let's talk about beginnings. Gaitri?
Yeah. Well, I was going to correct you. From the land of many waters to the land of even more waters, but a lot of sky waters here. So that's one thing. I don't, I'm not homesick in that respect. But okay, well, very simply, I was born in Crabwood Creek, and my father worked for Booker's at the time. We moved briefly to Line Path at Skeldon. And then when I was about 4, we moved into the senior staff compound. And after that, we went to several different estates all over the country. So I lived at Skeldon, I lived at Blairmont, I lived at Iflet, I lived at LBI, and even very briefly at Albion. So I kind of traveled Guyana.
The setting for your book. Take us to that setting. It's a plantation economy where everything is hinged on that plantation economy. The setting in your book.
Yes, it is. I think it's what came most readily to me, and it's because I was creating these ceramic figurines. I created them from memory, and they happened to be the village women, the women who worked in the estate, on the estate, just outside of the estate, who went about their business very quietly, but in my mind, they are the unsung heroines of Guyana, because they are the ones who brought up their own children, their grandchildren, other people's children. And I started and then I couldn't stop. I just wanted to bring these women to life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And of course, the sugar estate setting, this is the setting I grew up in Guyana. I grew up on the inside, of course, but I'm not blind and I'm not deaf. So I was able to, know a lot of what was going on. And besides, I mean, I lived there, but we had family in the villages, and so I had sort of the best of both worlds type of thing.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think this is a daring book in that you've tackled a number of issues, like class issues and family, religion, man-woman relationship, bigotry, a whole lot of issues you tackle, and we can find these issues, and not only in Guyana, but they are universal themes that you've touched on. So this is a daring, really daring book that you have put out here. I also say, apart from it being daring, it's like a graphic novel. It's like a graphic novel that can be used for other purposes, like a guidebook, a history book, a book on sociology. All right. Introduce us to some of these characters, bringing out these themes, some of these interaction, these relationships.
Well, goodness, there are so many of them. My cover girl, just on the cover of the book itself, is Khatun, who is the victim of an unhappy love affair between a Muslim woman and a Hindu man. Then there's Jasoda, who is a weeder at the estate, but helps to look after her grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
There's Miss Lady, who's the grandmother of Botheration boy Basil.
Uh-huh.
Basil's mother is living and studying in the UK, and Miss Lady looks after him. And then they're the younger generation. There's Asha, who grew up without a mother, and who actually loves her mother-in-law for a change. You know, it's always the other way around. And there's so many others. Gosh, one of the principal characters at the beginning was Miss Phoenix, because her name is deliberately Miss Phoenix, because the very first figurine I made shattered in the kiln. And I was really, really cut up about it. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to make a new one, which I did. And I named her Miss Phoenix because she had risen out of the ashes of the other one, who was Miss Essie, by the way. Miss Essie, for instance, is a snack seller. And that's such a familiar sight to every single Guyanese. A lady who sells chana by the cinema, or tamarind balls by the school, potato balls, egg balls, whatever, fudge, and then by the Estate Bay office, south on a Friday, that kind of thing. And there's so many different characters, but maybe what you would probably like to hear about is how these characters evolved. So I said,
Oh,
I started out with Miss Phoenix, and then I made a few others. And then my friends were so taken with these characters, and I would just make up little bits of stories and entertain them with it. And then after a while, they started telling me what kind of characters I should make. So one of my own favorites is the louse picker in Drani, who is searching her daughter's head. And, this is how the whole Kiskadee Days concept came about. It
yeah.
started as art, and then it ended up sort of intertwining and intermingling. And then as I wrote the stories, I would be inspired to make other ladies. And it's sort of a never-ending thing, really. Right now, I really couldn't tell you what is more important, the art or the stories themselves. It's all one.
Now, if you were to sell this book to me, sell the book to our audience, how would you sell this book?
What a question. Let me think very carefully.
Yeah, yeah,
I
because
would
this is,
say this this is Guyana between two covers. This is Guyana of the just towards the end of the colonial time and the beginning of the time of independence. This is the freedom, the carefreeness of a child in Guyana, because the stories are seen through the eyes of the women, but also the children,
yeah,
multiracial boys.
yeah,
This is the Guyana that you hold dear in your memory, and directing myself to people of my own age. However, if I were to be selling it to young folks, I would tell them, this is your heritage. This is where we came from. This is who we are. Treasure it. Because we're all worth something. Those unsung heroines, they are now being sung. They are the basis of our society. Our people who worked so hard for us to have a better life wherever.
yes,
They are the people we need to appreciate. We also
yeah,
need to appreciate our language, because remember, these people, a lot of them, they were not eloquent. They were held prisoners in their own lack of vocabulary sometimes. That's I feel.
yeah,
So I'm telling their stories. Enjoy the stories. Take some warning from the stories, and remember, above all, Kiskadee Village. This I should have told you this when for the first question. Kiskadee Village exudes harmony. There is discord, but it's discord that you would find anywhere else. That you don't find people looking down on each other, thinking others of each other for the color of their skin or what they believe, or things like that. It's
yeah,
this to me. This is how a village should be. You know what's funny, by the way? I just remembered. When I was doing my Facebook series on Kiskadee Days, I would do crazy things like say, okay, we're having an unveiling of a statue in Kiskadee Village. Everybody bring your own thing. Come on, what are you going to bring? So one is going to bring Moby, the other one is going to bring Palauri and whatever. You know, there were actually people writing to ask me for instructions. How do we get to Kiskadee Village? And this is what the thing that very many readers have echoed. We would all love to live in Kiskadee Village.
oh boy, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the dedication page. It says, for all who were born in the land of the mighty Roraima, and for those who would like to know how that feels. Onward, upward, may we ever go, hand in hand, side by side, as we celebrate our unique shared heritage with each other. Gaitri, that was a good sell. Good luck with your writing.
And
It was a lovely conversation. And thank you very much.
thank you. I enjoyed it too. Thank you very much, Pitamber.
You're welcome.